Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. My sidekick over here is Louie. I don't know why he's going to sleep, but on today's video we are going to be using a very requested wreath form, and that is this Infinity one, and it has the word love on it. And we are going to do a very simple method. You can use any size deco mesh you want for this, and we are also going to be making a funky bow. Without further ado, let's get started. Here are the supplies for this wreath. You're going to need some sort of an orange deco mesh, whether it be 10-inch, 6-inch, 21-inch, as long as it's a nice solid color. And we're going to wrap it around the wreath form. For the floral part of the wreath, I'm going to be using some of these willow branches. These are the brown glitter ones. Mini Mums, these are a beautiful warm ivory color. And then some of these berries, very cute. A few zip ties. Now for the ribbon, because we're going to be making a funky bow, this is the time where you can get rid of ribbon that you don't have enough of for a regular project. So I'm going to be using this beautiful pumpkin one. Then I'm going to be using some polka dot orange and polka dot burlap, along with some of this mesh ribbon. And as you can see, these are almost out. So if I get 1 or 2 pieces out of it, I'll be happy. And then you're going to need some sort of a cord. I'm going to be using some jute cord. We're going to start by grabbing our jute cord, and we are going to wrap it around this love part. So I'm just going to grab a really long piece. And I'm going to start by tying it right there on that little intersection. I'm just going to make sure that the knot is in the back. Let's cut off this extra tail. I'm going to give it a dot of hot glue right in the beginning before I start wrapping. And off I go. Looks like Simba came to help. Thank you so much, Simba. Here and there, give it a dot of hot glue. When going around small areas like the loop on the L, the O, or this part right here, what you want to do is basically grab your cord and use the end of it as a kind of like a needle. So you put it in kind of like you're sewing almost. And then grab it, put it in, and I just do it a few times. That way it goes quicker and you pull it through. By the way, the tip, I just took a little bit of hot glue at low temperature, let it sit there just for a few seconds, and I kind of made a needle for myself. Just makes it easier as you're going along, especially through these little tiny parts. I'm done going around the word love. Now I'm coming to the end from the back. I'm going to give a little bit of hot glue, wrap it around a few more times, and then I'm going to start looping it around that crossbar, just making a knot. On the last loop, as you can see, I looped it. I'm going to give it a little bit of hot glue so that that loop or knot stays in place. And that's just how I'm going to secure it in place. If you want to paint this, or if you want to do something else, that's fine too. The nice thing about wrapping it like this is the word love itself is a little bigger and you can see it a little better too. The next step is to get rid of any of these hairs sticking out. This is completely extra. You do not have to do this. Just a little warning, have water to the side of you. I just have water I'm drinking just in case. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little lighter, and I'm going to lightly go through the actual writing just quickly. As you can see, it's not like I'm sitting in one spot, and that's just going to get rid of any of these little loose hairs that are sticking out. And this is how it looks afterwards. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference, but the O and these little tiny spots like this one, it's much clearer. Now I'm ready to attach my deco mesh, and I'm going to start by attaching with the end rolling away from the table, because then we're going to flip it and then go around. I'm going to collect about 2 to 3 inches from the ending. You can definitely use ribbon or fabric or felt or anything else to cover. I feel like the deco mesh is going to give it a soft look. It is up to you what you want to use for this part. I would just use whatever you have on hand. I'm all about that. So of course we're going to give it a nice tug, cut the tail and move the little ending to the side so it's not sticking up. And now we're ready to go around. As I'm going around the endings, I'm trying to fold in because you don't want that sticking out anyway. And it's going to give it a softer look. You're going to give a few more reps in the beginning because you're trying to hide those corners. And then it's going to be smooth sailing going all the way around. This part right here, I'm not too worried about because that is where the bow is going to be. So you don't have to make sure that everything's covered 110%. But on the sides here, where you know it's going to be exposed, definitely make sure that everything is covered nicely. I'm done with my left side. Look how beautiful and soft that is. Now here, where it's crossing, I just go around, go to the bottom, from one side to the other, and then go up. Obviously, I'm going to tuck the sides in and just tighten this whole thing up here. But that's how I cover that center part. And then off I go. So don't worry if it's something sticking out, like this is a little on the loose side. That's okay. Absolutely okay. The center part, don't even worry about that. We're going to have so much stuff on there. And we're going to have a beautiful big bow. I am at the end, so I'm just going to grab another zip tie, pull it through, and do a quick zip tie in the back. Cut about 2 inches. We're going to hide this little nub towards the inside, and this little tail I'm just going to tuck inside, just like that. If you're using a 10-inch roll, I recommend using 10 yards because this is what's left. It's definitely less than half from my 10-yard roll. Next, I'm going to grab my willow branch and cut off 4 branches. What we're going to do is we're going to put the florals like this and like this. And then the bow is going to be in the center. Just bend it a little bit so it kind of flows. Let's bend these guys too a little bit. And we're going to brighten things up with some of these mini mums. Going to use 3 per side. Bend it a little bit. Put 1 a little higher and 2 a little lower. So we have a beautiful transition. Same thing, 1 a little higher, these 2 a little lower, just like that. And now the berries. Same thing with the berries. We're going to have 1 a little higher, 2 a little lower. I decided to do it off of the wreath so you can see what I'm doing. So 2 of these glitter ones, some of the ivory, that's going to look really beautiful against the orange, and then the berries. We're going to bring everything together and then grab a zip tie, floral wire, anything you have on hand, but zip tie will hold it really tightly. Just make sure everything is where you want it to be before you really tighten it up. Now we're going to do the left side, and what I like to do is I like to put them side by side. That way the tails, everything's even. And let's zip tie everything together. If you have some sticking out like this, definitely take care of that so it doesn't scratch the wall wherever this is going to be hanging. Now that my floral bundles are done, we're going to leave as is. Do not attach until your bow is open and ready to go, because then you will see how close or far from the center you need to be. Next, I'm going to grab a ribbon and measure how big I want this to be. So if I want it to be about there, let's measure. That's turning out to be 11 inches. Let's make sure that it's going to be okay and not cover the word, which it is, because we're still going to collect it in the center and we're still going to ducktail the ending, so it should be perfect. For the funky bow, if I want the length to be 11 inches, we multiply that by 2, which means it's going to be 22, and I'm going to do maybe 2 of these, fold the endings in half and cut a little triangle. Polka dot one, same thing, we're going to measure at 22 inches. We're going to do 2 strips of this one. Now this pretty orange polka dot one. Now we have some mesh ribbon. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get out of these because they're basically at the end. Let's see what we can get out of this one. I think we might actually get 2. Nope, 1. I decided to add 1 more of this one because it's the brightest one, and I feel like I need to brighten it up and give it just a little bit more of a brighter color. So I'm going to cut one more. So I have 3 of the pumpkin, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of these. This bow is so much fun because you can use all different ribbon. And I recommend using at least 6 pieces for this bow. So you can have more, you can have less. I have 7 here, 8, 9, and these are kind of, you know, see-through and stuff. So these are just for fun, but at least 6. I'm going to be using a bow maker. You don't have to, you could do this in your hand, but it's easier to use it. I'm going to start with the one I have the most, which is the pumpkin, fold it in half, and this is where you decide how big you want the tails to be and how big you want the bows to be themselves. So what I like to do is I'm going to do it even because the bows kind of poof up and the tails are going to stick out a little bit, and that's kind of what I want. So we're just going to go right in the center. Then I'm going to grab my next one. Same thing, I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to put the loop on the opposite side of the one I already have. Just like that, the loop is on the opposite side. Then the next one, same thing, fold in half. Loop goes on the opposite side. Then I'm going to grab this one. And you guys, I didn't do dovetails on these. Kind of don't have to because they're just so see-through, but I want to, so there you go. Because this is the 4th, I'm going to kind of break my rule, and the next loop is going to go on the opposite side because we're back to this white one, and I want the loop to be on the opposite side of the one that's already on here. We have our little pumpkins here, and loop goes on the opposite side. Next one, and our final one. Everything is on. I'm grabbing a 6-inch zip tie straight across to the back and nice and tight. Got that? Now it's time to attach everything. Grabbing another 6-inch zip tie, I'm going to zip tie my bow to my actual wreath right in the center. Now we're going to open up our bow. Fluff it up. What I like to do is I like to kind of put it to the side, and then these tails, we're going to flip the ones that are not looking the right way. There you go. Just start opening everything up. That bottom tail, just flip it side to side. Look how poofy this bow is, and I'm just done with one side. Now I'm going to go to the next side. Start opening that up, flipping the tails that are not facing the right way up. What a gorgeous bow. Look at that. I'm even getting help from Simba. Thank you, Simba. When you feel like your bow is fluffed up enough, that's when it's time to start bringing our florals in. And do you see what I mean? Now you know exactly where you want your florals to go. I think that looks good. Going to check it from this side. Yes, I think I like that. Grabbing another 6-inch zip tie. I'm going to go from the top down so we can zip tie it in the front. Just like that. And we zip tie. I decided to put another zip tie in the center of our little floral bundle. And I'm not even going to make this one really tight. The point of this one is just to make sure that my florals won't flop down. There is the top. And now I'm going to attach the bottom. Same thing, zip tie from top, down, and then back up so we can zip tie it on top. And one more zip tie in the center. Now I'm just making sure that the bow is nice and fluffy, covering all of the tails. Simba, what do you think of the bow? I think it's Simba approved, you guys. He's liking it. To hang the wreath, I'm just grabbing a piece of jute cord, and I'm going to go underneath the bow, underneath that zip tie that's holding the bow, and make a loop. I'm making sure that the loop is not higher than the corner on top. One more knot, move the knot to the back, and we have a little hanging loop. Final touches on the bow, and we are all set. You look so handsome in your little bow. You are welcome. You are just so handsome. Such a sweet, sweet dog. Look at him. Just grabbing my hand like that. What did you guys think of the wreath? I think it came out so beautiful. It was so simple to make. That bow, seriously you guys, that bow is so much fun to make. You can use whatever ribbon you have on hand. I really enjoyed making this wreath, besides the fact that it's a large long wreath and you could put it anywhere in your home. If you would like to see more wreath tutorials on a regular basis, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you are notified every time a wreath comes out. With that being said, thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you in our next video. Do you want to say bye? Yeah. Bye, guys. Mwah!